All right, get ready. We're going to spend some time with our offensive line coach, Adam Cushing. Not sure if we've allotted about 45 minutes for this segment, but we may get close to it. 6 of them on the offensive line in this class. That means it's a big day for you signing up these big guys. Congratulations on getting 6 good ones in on your offensive line.
Appreciate it, Will. It's obviously you said it's a big day, and we say it all the time in our room. The offensive line is the backbone of any football team, and in order to be good, right, you have to be good on the offensive line. Every other unit needs us to be good, and so that's why we went out and found some really, really talented players.
Yeah, excellent group for you to coach here in these future years at Texas A&M. So let's get to it. We've got to dive right into all 6 of these guys. Let's begin with Marcus Garcia from Denton Ryan High School. We talk about Texas high school playoffs. He's still in them. He's got a chance to win a state championship with Denton Ryan.
Yeah, you talk about one of those programs in Texas, right? Denton Ryan's one of those ones that everybody knows as well as coached as any place in the country with the rich tradition. And to find a young man like Marcus, somebody that really is his brightest future on the O-line's way ahead of him because he's just started playing the position. So to that type of athlete transitioning from tight end and then learning the O-line position, I think one of the things that really struck me about Marcus is his football IQ, right? To pick up that position so quickly and to be so diligent to improve at it. And that's obviously a credit again to that program and where he comes from and the level of football he's playing.
Mm-hmm. Denton Ryan will play on Saturday in Fort Worth in the Class 5A Division I quarterfinals. They'll play Aledo, 2 good programs right there in the winter, on to the state semis. Midlothian, Texas is where we find your next offensive lineman, Nelson Maguire. He paved the way for an offense that averaged 270 rush yards per game, so he's clearing some lanes.
He knows a thing or two about moving people. Yeah, you talk about another guy that's new to football. He was a basketball player most of his life, and just recently come out and they kind of went, hey man, you look like a pretty good offensive lineman, and for him to pick it up, I mean, he's incredibly talented. And from a size perspective, exactly what you're looking for, right? He has those NFL measurables, those transferable traits, but then comes from this incredible family, as humble blue collar as it comes, and that shows in the work that he has put in. And so from the minute that we got to know him through his senior film, I mean, he's just exceptional player.
Mm-hmm. Continuing down to Houston now. And that's where you found Joshua Moses, 3rd offensive lineman in this class.
Yeah, Josh, we were fortunate when we got here. Josh was already somebody that had a relationship with Texas A&M. And so one of those guys that we walked in the door, evaluated, and looked at it and said, again, another person that moves people from point A to point B. And in the end, man, that's the essence of playing offensive line, is moving people from point A to point B against their will. And that's Josh's specialty.
Yeah, getting these 3, Garcia, Maguire, Moses, before we move on, that's just half of them. And the need for offensive linemen in a program, I mean, 5 start, but you got to have maybe, 10 to 14 really to create depth on that offensive line.
Yeah, we're always going to say we're going to go into every game knowing who our top 10 are, and I have a philosophy that's maybe different a little bit nationally, but we're going to play 6 in every game. I want to play 7, and I'd love to play 8 in every single football game. And you saw it play out a little bit this year. We had some, the injury bug bit us a little bit, and having those guys in the game and have that experience playing. When something happened, there were guys ready to step up.
All right, so we'll move on from there. The other half of the offensive line that you signed up. Jonte Newman is from Cypress, Texas, Bridgeland High School, and I love the fact that he played for an Aggie who was in our program when I was in school here. Lonnie Madison was his head coach at Bridgeland High School.
Yeah, obviously Coach Madison was absolutely phenomenal for us, and he's Jonte is one of those guys that as soon as we walked in the door here back in late December, early January, at least for me, and that we identified as a prime target. And I think the most impressive part about Jonte, you're going to look at all these incredible athletic things that he does on video, how he moves people. But when you go watch him practice, he's the guy that's first in every drill. He's the guy winning every single drill. He's the guy leading with his voice. I'm so excited for what he is as a person. And that's not even the incredible athletic ability and people moving skills that he has.
Well, Jonte, Coach Madison, Bridgeland, state quarterfinals Saturday. They take on Duncanville, 6A Division I playoffs. Winner goes on to the semifinals. Some of these matchups, Denton Ryan and Marcus Garcia against Toledo, Jonte Newman and Bridgeland against Duncanville. I mean, this is big-time football. As Coach Taylor said, Texas high school playoffs is like the SEC of high school football, and that's what these guys are doing.
And you want to recruit winners. You love having guys that are still playing at this point in December because they know what a championship standard looks like, feels like, and how they have to act when they walk in the door.
Lamont Rogers is from Mesquite Horn, and we were talking to Coach Wiggins earlier when he got Jerome Miles. Some of these late additions to the class, they're not necessarily signing day surprises because you guys continually recruit people. They may commit somewhere else during the process, but you stay on them. And Lamont Rogers, again, not a surprise, but a late addition from Mesquite Horn, and he is a top 200 player nationally according to ESPN, as are a lot of these guys.
Yeah, ESPN's right, for sure. Lamont's an incredibly talented young man, and by his own admission, he knows his best football's in front of him, and he's really, really excited to come into this place and become what he's capable of becoming. You said it. We built a relationship. I know I've heard Derek, I've heard Troop talk. This was a full staff thing. With Wisley Desire, Deviante Mackey, a couple of the guys that work with me on the offensive line, Troop. Everybody building a great relationship with Lamont, and just showing him how we would develop him and help him meet his potential.
And then Tyler Thomas rounds out the offensive line from Dickinson, Texas. 2024 finalist for the Houston Touchdown Club's Offensive Player of the Year award. When you're honored in Houston, you've played some good football, quite frankly.
Another guy playing at a really great program, playing in high-level football in this state, and another guy that, as soon as I got the job here was identified as a top target and somebody that we built a relationship with. And you talk about an incredible family that he comes from, with his grandparents and his aunts that support him back there at home. But when you see Tyler out at practice here, whatever that starts next month, you're going to look at him and say that's what they look like, and more importantly, that's how they act at practice, right? That's how he goes about his business. High character that works his absolute tail off and has all of the potential in the world.
Yeah, and before you go, just looking at it. 2024, great improvement on the offensive line. Guys like Trey Zune up there, Armaje Reed-Adams. Then you add these to the fold. But I also heard Coach Elko kind of say this late in the season, even behind those starting 5, 6 that you like to use in a game. He said some young offensive linemen within the program right now really progressing in a way that he and you like. Can you kind of speak to that? Because that's real depth you're building here. An improved offensive line, young ones getting better and better, and then these 6 coming into the program as well. I mean, you feel like you got a healthy room moving forward.
You know what? Competition breeds excellence, right? When you have guys that can come in and push each other to be great, I think it creates a great room. And Coach Elko said it really well. We have a bunch of young players. We have some guys that saw some action this year with the TJ Shanahan, right? And then you look at the true freshmen in the program with Blake Ivy, Papa Afua, Ashton Funk, Robbie Borden. All of those guys, they didn't see the field this year other than maybe a couple of those games where we were up big. But the progress they've made in the weight room, right? The progress they've made in their football IQ, they're going to come into this next season with an opportunity to push for playing time, and that's just going to make everybody around them better, and maybe they're going to take some jobs, and that's what we want. We want those guys capable of doing that every single day.
All right, spend some time with you. Thanks for taking the time. You're kind of the feature of the show with the 6 side of the line. But Coach Cushing, appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Will. Yeah,